bum bum ba ba dum bum ba ba dum bum ba ba bum. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Monday mini medicine card reading. Woohoo! Yay, Monday! Woohoo! Muppet dance. So, thank you for joining me. Welcome, welcome. Come on in. I just got home. I might be a little bit loopy between the full moon and not having dinner yet and being tired and everything else. So, but then I'm kind of loopy to begin with. So, come on in, make yourself comfortable. Just lighting up a little bit of sage so I can smudge my cards, because I had them been at Crescent Moon Gifts in Tacoma all day. So I like to, in between gigs, I like to smudge my cards. So I've got some, I wish it was trying to get it to burn more, bigger. So thank you for joining me. If you haven't been here before, what we're doing is we are doing I pulled 3 cards of the medicine card deck. This wonderful deck with animals, working with the animal spirit guides. And as I'm smudging them, and I am Patrick. If you haven't been here before, welcome. Nice to meet you. I will be your friendly neighborhood shaman for the evening as we do some readings. And just to warn you, as I was trying to leave this morning to go to Crescent Moon to do readings all day, it's hard to say that's work. I was going to say, I'm on my way to work, but it doesn't feel like work. But as I was leaving, my new neighbor, this elderly Indian woman, started talking. She was just taking her garbage out, and she started talking to me, and I couldn't quite understand what she was trying to say. And so we just kind of kept trying, and eventually I finally understood that as she's moving in, she has a big sofa, and she was asking if I could open my front door so that they could position it to be able to move it into her front door. And so at some point during this, chances are I'm going to get a knock at the door, my doorbell's going to ring, I'm going to have to run up and open my door for them. Just to warn you, it'll just be a momentary intermission, because it shouldn't take too long. I just have to open the door, and I've got Kira, my kitty companion, safely in the bedroom with the door closed so that she won't be in any danger of getting out, getting into mischief. So I kept saying, she was like, what time do you get home? I'm like, usually around 7. Okay, I'll tell my grandson to bring the couch about 7:30. And I'm like, well, 7:30 I have a commitment. Okay, well, I'll tell my grandson to bring it at 7:30. And so we're just going to see what happens. Hey, Esperanza, good to see you. So we're just shuffling up the cards. So what happens? See, I'm loopy. I can't keep on target, but I am going to pull 3 cards. Count them, 1, 2, 3, and I will draw them, put them down here. Your job is, while I'm shuffling, while I'm talking, to choose a number between 1 and 3, and whichever number you pick that corresponds with that card, I will start one at a time revealing the cards and saying, to give it, kind of doing the mini reading. And it's just to kind of give you some guidance for the upcoming week let you know what animal guide is volunteering to come and help, and Hawk just jumped out of the cards. So I guess that's a general message for everyone. And Hawk medicine is basically about paying attention. There are messages coming. Right here, right now. Hey Ian, it's good to see you too. Hello Dee Dee. Everybody, welcome. Thank you for joining me. It means a lot to me when you guys come. So anyway, so Hawk fell out. Hawk is the messenger of the gods. And Hawk is kind of that bridge between heaven and earth, you know. Hawk, whereas eagle tends to just soar overhead, Hawk tends to kind of hang out up high and then dives to the earth to grab a rabbit or whatever, and then back up and then down and then back up. And so it's kind of like he's kind of like Hermes of the Greek pantheon, in that swiftness, that communication, carrying messages. And so in many cultures, well, I don't know about how many cultures, but I have heard that in many cultures, when you hear a hawk cry, it's time to pay attention. Similar to a lot of like Zen and Buddhist mindfulness practices, where they randomly during the day have if you're at a retreat center, or they even have apps on your phone where there'll be a random ringing of a bell. And whenever you hear that bell, it's time to stop, pay attention to the last thought you had, where you are, what you're doing, where your focus is, in order to bring yourself back to the present and to decipher those messages. And so Hawk appeared kind of a general for everybody, so pay attention this week. Pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to omens or signs. Pay attention to what people around you are saying. And, you know, when you hear something, when someone says something, or you see something, and it has that, it literally rings your heart like a bell, right? Like that, boom, like wake up. Oh, wow, it kind of gets your attention. That's a sign that is a sign. So pay attention to the messages. Also, trust yourself and your own intuition. You also are a messenger of the gods. Everything you do, I like to live my life by kind of my mission statement is to walk in beauty, which is a Native American phrase that means everything you do, everything you say, sows seeds of either love or fear, creation or destruction. And so you also are a messenger of the gods. So trust your heart, trust your intuition. Be the messenger of the gods. Be the presence of love that the world needs. Be that messenger. Be the presence of the divine. Even if it's just holding space, not saying anything, love is the greatest message there is, because love is the most powerful. I don't know if I would actually call it a force, because it's just a presence, but love is all there is. So anyway, so that was Hawk in a nutshell. And there's so much more. It's like I could go on for hours, but it's time to pull some cards. So okay, choose a number, 1, 2, or 3, or you can choose 2 numbers or all 3 numbers. Even when I'm just doing them one at a time, there's always some kind of a thread that runs through and connects all the animals. And if we have time, and I have the spoons left, we will do a guided meditation at the end so that you can connect to the animal that chose you and get their message personally, however it pertains to you. So, all right, we have 3 cards on the table. Make your choices. And number 1, if 1 is your card, you got Wild Boar. Boar has been coming up so often lately, and I think part of the reason is because boar is, at least in my eyes, boar is about initiation. Boar is about rites of passage. And the reason for that is that wild boar is most probably the fiercest animal on the face of the planet. They are unpredictable. They go berserk. Which is an interesting word because berserk means bear shirt, and it's like shape shifters, blah blah blah. But that's a whole nother thing. But wild boar they go berserk. They have this battle lust as soon as if they're threatened or they're attacking. They just all sense goes away from their mind and they just begin spinning like a Tasmanian devil, slashing. I thought you would like that, Stephanie, talking about the berserkers. But they have the tusks and their hooves and they slash. And so in many cultures around the world, slaying a wild boar is the rite of passage to adulthood. And the reason is because you're not guaranteed to survive. You know, Sandra Ingerman, my teacher, one of her guides told her something that has stuck with me for years. And that is, if you knew you were going to survive, it wouldn't be an initiation. Because initiation is a death and rebirth. And so it really is, it's a surrendering, it's a letting go, it's a moving to the next level. And so when wild boar comes up, if that's your card, then you are most likely going through some kind of shift, some kind of transformation or transmutation from one level to another level. And the way I like to explain it, if I don't get off on too many tangents, is boar, to me, again, this is my perspective, what I've experienced, the way I look at it. Boar is kind of like the guardian at the gates. He's kind of the gatekeeper, right? He kind of embodies all our inner demons, and he kind of walks the perimeter of our reality bubble, right? Like we each live in our own reality, the comfort zone in the middle, and around that is a ring of fear. And that fear actually serves a purpose to protect us and keep us where we're safe in the middle of the circle, but just until we outgrow that circle. And so there comes a time when your old reality can no longer contain you. You literally outgrow your old beliefs, outgrow your old reality, and then you have to face those demons, you know. And so to begin with, boar is a guardian, you know, and we sit here with, like I just said, like it's like our inner demons, but there's a purpose to that. Everything is there to serve us. Everything is there to help us. And even fear, even our demons, right? And so by walking that perimeter and keeping us inside of that because of fear, we don't want to cross out of our comfort zone. We stay inside of it. It's like the seed casing of a seed, that hard shell that allows the soft and tender inside of the seed to grow and germinate, but eventually that seed has to burst out of the shell or it's not going to survive, right? And so that shell, you can kind of think of it like the way we think of like fear. It's kind of like, you know, all the old medieval maps, all the uncharted territories, it was here be dragons, because they didn't know what was out there and they didn't want to venture into it, or they were afraid to. Most people were, not everybody. But so Boar kind of stands guard, keeping us within that perimeter to keep us safe, to keep us growing and supple and creative, just like the inside of a seed. But then when it comes time to outgrow that, to undergo an initiation to the next level, to outgrow that, burst out of that seed casing, we have to face that fear. And if you can face it, you can overcome it. And in that time, at that place, Boar becomes not the guardian, but the gatekeeper. And it's so funny, like, life really is kind of like a video game, you know, like when you're battling up to get to the next level and you have to face the boss of that level. That boss is there to make sure that you have acquired all the tools and the knowledge and the experience you need to survive in the next level. And it can seem like the boss is out to kill you and it's evil and it's, you know, to take you down, but he's really there. It's an initiation. It's a test to see how well you have learned all the lessons of this level. And only when you have the appropriate skills and knowledge and wisdom and experience will you be allowed to slay the gatekeeper and move to the next level, right? And, you know, our fears, like I said, everything is there to help us, to support us, even our fears. And not to say that, you know, woohoo, I'm really afraid, so I must be getting somewhere. But, because believe me, I know what fear is, and it is debilitating, and it can, when it's out of balance, it can be debilitating and that kind of thing all as well. But when you face your fears, if you can face the fear, you know, part of Boar's job is to be this scary facade of an idea, but that idea is our own. What we're afraid of is just an idea. It's just a perception. It's an illusion. And Boar comes, gives it this scary face and manner to make sure, is like, are you sure you want to mess with me? Are you sure you want to take the next step? And when you face the Boar, when you face those thoughts and those fears, their only power comes from you. If you're afraid of something and you're not facing it, they become bigger. That's when the fears become overwhelming, because you're not facing them, because you're not dealing with them, you're not feeling them. But if you can face your fear head on, look it in the eye, even if it's scary, even if your voice is shaking, but to look it in the eye and know that you have no power over me, because your power is coming from me. It's a way of reclaiming your own innate power, your own innate divinity, because you are a divine, creative being. There is nothing and no one that is more powerful than you. Ultimately, you are immortal, eternal. You will be here beyond forever. There is nothing that can threaten that. And so when you when you feel threatened, you know, it's like, okay, I don't know, you know. And that's the other thing, as you're outgrowing these levels, as you're leveling up, the fears that are the parameter of that comfort zone that you were in, those spheres and that gatekeeper are at the appropriate level for what you need in order to step into the next level. Does that make sense? So you're never, like they talk about, God will never give you anything you can't handle. That's why, because those spheres are your own and they're appropriate to whatever level you're on. They're a reflection of you. And as we step forward to claim our power, to look those in the eye, they vanish. You don't have to fight them. If you fight them, then you're resisting them, which makes them stronger. So, like I have said before, the true strength of a spiritual warrior is not to go out and fight evil. You know, at some point we have to move beyond the idea of duality and realize that everything and everyone is part of the same creative energy. There is no separation. And so when you realize that, where was I going with that? I had a point. But when you realize there's no duality, then it's not about good versus evil. It's not about defending the good against the evil, because there's no separate. It's all one thing. Who are you fighting? You're fighting yourself, because we are all part of the divine. We're all part of that original creative source. And so there's nothing to fight. And so when you surrender into that power, it just radiates outward and clears the path before you, and nothing can stand before you. And so that is the strength, that is the purpose of a spiritual warrior, is to stand amidst the illusions and the storms of the world, no matter what anyone thinks, anyone says, no matter what's happening around them, or, why people say things are happening. The spiritual warrior stands in the midst of that, in their truth and their authenticity, like Hawk being that bridge between heaven and earth, being the presence of and anchoring the truth in the world. Fear is illusion, love is truth. That is as simple as it gets. And so it's not about good versus evil, it's about love and fear. And notice I didn't say love versus fear, because fear is an absence of love. It's not like two equal presences bashing heads. Fear is the absence of love. But even that is an illusion, because everything is love. And so when you move into that and you're the presence of love, there's nothing to oppose you. There's nothing for you to oppose. There's nothing to fight, because it's all one. And so by standing in the truth, in the love, the illusions part before you. And that is how we heal the world. That is how we heal each other. That is how we heal ourselves and become a better presence to heal the world. So I hope that that makes sense. But if that is your card, good for you. You're ready. You're ready to take that step. You're like, and wild boar, it's funny because boar technically is the male, but whenever boar comes up, I always get that sense of Amazon power. It's like Wonder Woman, right? And it's that same sense of the reason you learn karate is so that you don't have to use it. Because once you know how to use it, you know how to defend yourself, you just carry yourself differently. You have different vibes, you radiate different energy, so that no one's going to mess with you. That's what boar is. It's about owning that power. And like, you could take out anything or anyone who opposes you, but you don't have to, because you carry yourself in that power, in that light, and so no one is going to mess with you. So that is wild boar. And apparently that is from a couple of sources I've been kind of watching. I have a hard time paying attention to what people are writing and talking at the same time because I lose my train of thought. But I've seen Freya pop up a number of times from different people. And it's like, okay, Freya's here tonight. All right, so number 2. If 2 is your card, you got the rabbit. Look at the rabbit. Rabbit is, for such a little critter, rabbit is very complex. Number 1, rabbit is about creative opportunity. Just like, Easter and spring comes along, rabbit's the symbol because it's like emerging from the earth, new life and creativity, and there's always also the fertility aspect and the fecundity, that amorousness, why are words failing me? But that creativity, fertility, creativeness, sex and love, and all of those things that bring life to the world again after a long winter, right? And so it's that new birth, new life, and it's what rabbit brings is that idea of, like I said, creative opportunities. In that I've heard rabbit be referred to as the popcorn of the animal kingdom because they're so plentiful and everybody eats them. And that's the cycle, because they're plentiful because everyone eats them, because they're plentiful because everybody eats them. And so rabbit, rabbit is here to remind you that opportunity does not knock just once. Just like Hawk, who visited us earlier, if Hawk misses a rabbit, there's always another one coming along. That's their nature, is to expand and populate. And so if you miss an opportunity, you are not stuck. You are not, oh crap, I'm never going to get this now because I just missed my one and only opportunity. There is always other opportunities coming. Not only that, it's creative opportunities. It's about thinking outside the box. If you think about rabbit, like when rabbit is running away from a predator, they don't run in a straight line. They zig and they zag and they turn and they zag and they zig. Your ideas, the opportunities, the creativity will come from every different direction. It's not just a boom. Okay, this idea, then this idea, then this idea. It's like you're going to see one over here. You're going to zip to that one, zip over here to this one, zip back to this one. To the view of other people, they're going to think you're crazy. But as long as you're following that intuitive nudge to follow the rabbits, the ideas, that creativity, then to you it's just going to be the natural next steps. And just like rabbit, no one's going to be able to pin you down because you're not going in a straight line where they can just whoosh, because they can then judge where you're going to be in the future. It's like, no, you're unpredictable. What else? There was something that just came in as I said that too. Oh, if rabbit is out of balance, it can be that deer in the headlights. So if this is your card, keep moving. It doesn't matter which direction, just keep moving. When rabbit freezes, when rabbit gets overwhelmed, and freezes because he's got too many choices and doesn't know which direction to go, he's dinner. He's dead. They have to move. Once you start moving, you can evade the predators. And just like someone used to say to me, it's easier to steer a car when it's in motion than when it's sitting still. And so if this is your card, it doesn't matter which direction you go. There are no wrong directions. There are no wrong decisions. Just move one foot in front of the other. And then you can always adjust your directions. You can always go in another way, but it's important to just keep moving. The other thing about Rabbit is kind of, there's a story that goes with Rabbit, and it's kind of a, what do they call it? A cautionary tale of how not to be. Rabbit is about, it was interesting, I was just talking about fear with Boar, and Rabbit in a way also, Rabbit medicine also deals with fear, in that it's kind of along the lines of law of attraction, that what you focus on is what you get. Your thoughts become things. And so it's important to focus on what you want, not on what you don't want. The story goes that one day Rabbit's hopping down the woodland path, right? And he sees Eagle flying overhead. And he is so afraid. He jumps up and starts yelling, "Eagle, I'm really afraid of you. Please don't come and eat me." Well, Eagle didn't hear him the first time. So Rabbit jumped up on a log, started waving his paws in the air, jumping up and down and yelling even louder, "Eagle, don't come and eat me. I'm really, really afraid." Well, Eagle heard him the second time, swoops down and ate the rabbit. And so it's like when you focus on your fears and that's trying to resist your fears, stay away, stay away. But what are you doing? You're focused on your fears. You're actually calling them to you. And so it's important to focus, be mindful of what it is you want. You know, like, oh, I don't want to be late, rather than I want to be on time. There's like two, it might sound like semantics, it might sound like the same thing, but there's a world of difference between wanting to be on time and not wanting to be late, because the universe doesn't hear negatives. All the universe hears is on time or late. And so if you're focusing on not being late, chances are you're going to be late. So the thing is that that's not where the story ends. The thing is, even if you call your fears to you, that's an initiation point. That's your fears come to you. You have no choice but to face them, to go through them. And so when Eagle swoops down and grabs Rabbit and eats him, Rabbit's consciousness melds with Eagle's consciousness. And Rabbit starts to learn what it's like to fly and start to learn the intricacies of what it is to be Eagle. And so when Rabbit is born into, what's a group of rabbits called again? I can't remember. But when he's born into the rabbit family in coming spring, he knows what it's like and he doesn't have to fear it anymore. And so chances are he won't call that to him anymore. It'll be out of his reality. He'll have gone beyond it. So pay attention to your thoughts. Pay attention to what you think. Are you running toward something or away from something? If you're running away from something, then you're focusing on what you're trying to get away from. In other words, you're tying yourself to that rather than paying attention. If you're running looking backwards, eventually you're going to trip and fall, right? There's this series. It's a British series called Brother Cadfael, and it's about this medieval monk. He's an herbalist, and he's an ex-crusader. He went on the Crusades and heard his calling to join the holy life And so he became a monk later in life and became an herbalist, became the healer of the congregation or the parish, whatever. And in one of the episodes, his son shows up, also a part of the order. They're part of the Benedictine order. I believe it was Benedictine. And there's a scene in there where Cadfael is talking to his son, and he's like, the difference between us and our vocations in the religious life is I was running to something, you were running away from something. And if you're running away from something, that is not a true vocation. Vocation is a calling, right? And if you're running away from something, you're not hearing a calling. You're just trying to get away from something else. And so it doesn't matter where you end up because you're focused on what you're trying to get away from. Does that make sense? So pay attention to where you're going. Just keep moving. Even if you think it's the wrong direction. You know, the universe is a giant GPS system, you know, and we set our intentions, we set our destinations by setting intentions, and then the universe guides us. But again, continue to the route. That's what Siri's always telling me when I'm not moving. Continue to the route. You know, they can't help you if you're not moving very much. And also the point that I'm trying to get to is that even if you turn left when it would have been better to turn right, the universe doesn't judge you. It's like, okay, rerouting, and they will bring you back. So just move. Just keep moving. Swimming, swimming, keep on swimming. So, all right, number 3. I don't think we're going to get to our guided meditation tonight. I guess I got a little wordy. But number 3, in fact, it's number 3 on the card too. Oh, can you see? I'm trying to get out of the glare. But it's elk. If 3 was your number, you got the elk. Elk is about stamina. Elk is about that kind of that tenacity, that the energy to run. Elk can run for hours and hours without tiring. That's his biggest gift. That is his biggest defense mechanism. If he can, you know, like predators tend to be sprinters, right? They depend on that initial burst of speed to overtake their prey. But if elk can stay away from them long enough, then he can get away because the predators, they tire out so fast and they burn out. Meanwhile, he's running for hours and hours and hours without slowing down. So if that is your card, whatever your intentions, wherever you're trying to do, wherever you're trying to go, you have the energy and the stamina behind you to get there. And it becomes, you know, not so much you running as it is spirit carrying you, right? And the thing about elk, so I was doing a reading for someone a while back, and as I was explaining that with the wolves nipping at the heels of elk and elk getting a little bit further and further and further, I was watching that play out on the tabletop in front of me, and all of a sudden this horizontal scene went vertical. And I realized it's about raising your frequency. With elk, it's like you're meant to be up here. The wolves can only go this far before they tire out. They're lower vibration. And so if you can raise your vibration, you won't even be aware of the wolves trying to nip at your heels. You'll be long gone from there. You won't even know that they're in your reality. You won't even see them. And so it's about, again, that stamina. It's like that power comes not from reaching for something outside of us or reaching for something else, trying to acquire things. but it's in surrendering into who we already are, that divine power within us, that center that is light and love and vibration or frequency. They're kind of the same thing. There might be a technical difference that I'm not aware of, but like raising your frequency is basically you're raising the vibration that you're vibrating at. You know, everything in the universe is vibration. Everything is energy, and the only reason things are solid is because they're vibrating at the same frequency that we are. So anyway, so it's surrendering into that. The way you raise your frequency is by relaxing, surrendering into that that power, that energy that we are in our center. You can't effort to get, you can't, oh my God, I got to raise my frequency. It doesn't work that way. That just lowers it, you know. And again, bringing this full circle with where we started with boar, if elk stops, so the wolves are here, elk is here. If elk stops to fight the wolves, he is lowering his frequency because he has to match the frequency of the wolves in order to fight them. And then he's lost. He can't overcome an entire pack of wolves. His only defense is to raise up here, right? And so when we're intent on fighting something, when we feel like there's something opposing us, we're vibing at that same level. And the only way to release that thing is to raise our frequency to where this is a nothing, right? So when you find yourself head to head with somebody or some situation or whatever, the way to get beyond it is to raise your frequency because you're vibing at that frequency. And so, again, being the spiritual warrior, it's not about fighting that evil. It's about standing in the light, bringing that light down, bringing that vibration everywhere so that even the lower frequencies are raised. You know, because it's entrainment. It's all about entrainment. The highest frequency in the room wins, and every other frequency tries to rise to meet that frequency. They might not all do it, but by being in your light and your power, raising your frequency, others will automatically, their frequency will rise to meet yours. Now, that doesn't mean everybody's going to be happy to see you, because that will freak the hell out of some people, and they're going to hate you for it because all of a sudden they can't, they have no context. They don't know what's going on. All of a sudden they realize they're feeling ungrounded and happy and they don't know. It's uncomfortable. It's not controllable. It's not within their perceptions. And so they might strike out at you, or they might run away because it freaks them out. The thing is, you just did them a big service by planting seeds. Remember what I said earlier about walking in beauty? When you're walking in your light, when you're walking in your power, everything you do, everything you send into the universe, out into the world, sows seeds of love and creation. They might not land on fertile ground. They might not, someone might take one of those seeds and go all oyster on it and create a pearl. That's another good metaphor. But try to cover it up and try to get rid of it. but eventually that seed is going to germinate and grow, and that person, whether this lifetime or another one, or 1 year down the road, or 10 years down the road, or tomorrow, something is going to shift. And so you can never, when you are in your power, when you are of the presence of love, you can do no harm. That sounds, part of me is like, oh my God, you didn't just say that, because it sounds kind of like this ultimatum, like, do whatever you want, but it's kind of like the pagan thing too about, and it harm none, do as you will. But when you're in your power, there is no others to harm. And you send that light out, you send that love out, and it raises, like when you raise your frequency, you raise the frequency of everything around you. I hope that makes sense. I know I keep saying that over and over again. But yeah, Elk's trying to tell me something else. So another aspect of elk, at least the bull elk, is the antlers. That's like antenna. It's like the crown chakra being open to spirit. Again, it's like that being that, yes, Nathalia, being your true self, being in your power, opening, in shamanism we call it being the hollow bone. You open to spirit, you become the eyes and the mouth and the hands of spirit. And it's like getting the ego out of the way enough that spirit can move through you. And then that's where elk gets his strength and his stamina, is because it's spirit moving through him, carrying him. He's not doing it of his own volition, of his own energy. That's why he doesn't get tired, because he's riding spirit. Cool. Another thing about elk is, it's like elk, and they show the bull elk, but the elk is matrilineal, matriarchal. We think, oh, look, that bull has all those cows. Well, the cows are the one that allow the bull to be in their presence. And at some point, they usually kick the bull out. That's why you get these. So another thing about elk is it's about hanging with the friends of the same gender. It's like you get these roaming rogue groups of bull elk, these young bull elk that don't know what they're doing because they've been kind of kicked out of the house. But it's especially with women, that sisterhood, being in that family, mutual supportive group of the same gender. So oofda. All right, well, maybe we have time. All right, so those are the cards. We are going to do a quick meditation. I know I tried it. Where did my drumstick go? It fell under the table. And apparently my neighbors aren't going to knock. I've been waiting for if you weren't here at the beginning, I ran into my new neighbor, next door neighbor this morning, and she was going to have her couch brought over tonight, and she was going to need me to open my door because it's such a big couch, so they could finagle it into their apartment. But nobody's knocked yet, so I think we're okay. All right, so like I have said before, when I do these readings for you, I'm giving you my perspective, what my experience is, my relationship to the animals, but everybody has a different relationship to the animals, to their guides, to Creator, and so anything I say is secondhand. Everything I say is hearsay. And so one of my biggest missions in life is to empower other people. And so what we're going to do is to help you get the message from the guides themselves. I can help you to connect with the animal themselves and get a message directly from them that has so much more validity and value than anything I say. And so we're going to do a little meditation here. I'm going to drum softly in the background. And so when you're ready, go ahead and close your eyes. Just relax. Take a deep breath. Hold it for a moment and let it go. Take another deep breath. Hold it for a moment and let it go. And now I want you to open your third eye into your mind as if it were an actual eye. Look out into your imagination and find yourself on the edge of a forest looking out over a wide meadow. Beautiful meadow with wildflowers and grasses. You see them waving in the breeze. You hear the buzz of the insects. You hear the birds in the trees behind you. And up ahead in the middle of the meadow, you see this great flat rock sitting there invitingly. So go ahead, start walking through the grass. Feel it brushing against your legs and your hands. Feel the warmth of the sun on your face. See the insects zipping back and forth. See all the different beautiful colors of the flowers around you. And finally, when you get to that big stone in the middle of the meadow, go ahead and crawl up and sit on it. Feel the sun-warmed stone beneath you. Feel the warmth of the sun on your face, the cool breeze in your hair, keeping you at exactly the right temperature. And now we are going to invite whichever animal, and if you chose more than one card, just pick one. You can always come back to this meditation or all three if you want to. Just choose one for right now. We're going to invite that animal to come and meet you at this stone. So just mentally call out to that animal, invite them. And you will find them coming through the grass to meet you at that rock. And when they arrive, thank them for coming. Thank them for their medicine, for their energy, and ask them. I'm going to be quiet now while you talk to them yourselves, but ask them, what is their message for you? What have they come to help you with in this coming week? So I'm going to quiet now and let you speak to them. feel the rock fading and the chair or the couch or the floor or whatever you are sitting on coming into reality, becoming aware of the room around you, becoming aware of your body. Go ahead and wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, even tap on your arms, tap on your chest to come back fully into your physical body. And when you are ready, in your own time, go ahead and open your eyes and return to this room, this world. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you got some profound messages. I hope that was helpful. If not, you can always go back. I'm going to save this to my Facebook page. I'm also going to upload it to my Perching Wolf Studios YouTube channel, which you are free to subscribe to and like and comment and all of that good stuff. But feel free to listen. If you didn't get a message, listen, try it again. Try it with the different animals. And, you know, even if you happen to see some animal or see a show about some animal that just kind of out of the blue, you can always go back and use this meditation to connect with them and find out exactly why they have appeared. Because there are no accidents. Everything has a purpose, and if there is an animal that has gotten your attention, there is a reason for that. So pay attention to your dreams, pay attention to your random thoughts when you're not paying attention to them. Yeah, and I think that is it. So, you know, again, if you enjoyed this and you want a reading of your own, where you get 5 cards or more, all to you, to reflect what you need to know right now, I am available for personal readings. You can meet. We can do it over Zoom, or on Mondays I'm at Crescent Moon in Tacoma, and Wednesdays and Fridays I'm at my office at Four Sisters in Renton, and also second and fourth Saturdays from 11 to 5. So you can come and see me there if I happen to be there when you're there, or you can arrange an appointment so that to make sure I'll be there and do a reading for you to help you sort things out, to get those messages you need. I also do other shamanic things. You can check out my website at perchingwolfstudios.net and see what shamanic services might call you. Like, I do soul retrieval healings, Reiki, what else? Whole bunch of stuff. It's kind of like I have a hard time listing what I do because I never know what I'm going to do. It's you know, working with my guides. They're the ones that tell me what needs to be done and in what order, and so I just follow their lead. But there are general things, the readings, the soul retrievals, power animal retrievals, different things. So check out my website to see what all that stuff means and who I am. Let me know if there's anything I can help you with. My job as a shaman is to support my community who supports me, and I am so grateful for your being here, your presence here, and it's the support you show me. I love doing these videos, and it just tickles me to see people coming back and over again. Oh yeah, fairy doctoring. I also do something called fairy doctoring. It's similar to soul retrieval, but sometimes when we experience what we call in shamanism soul loss, where we lose a part of ourselves, like a dissociation because of a trauma, sometimes the Fae will take those soul parts into the fairy realm because their job is to balance energy between their world and ours. And so sometimes those missing soul parts can be in the fairy realm. And so I have specific fairy guides and liaisons to check in the fairy realm to see if you have soul parts from the fairies to come back. So that's something else I offer. I love my job. So check out my website, check out my YouTube channel, check out my blogs. I have a couple of blogs. I haven't been writing as much lately because I've been doing Instagram. So yeah, you can follow me on Instagram. And what else? And Facebook page, which you're probably watching this on. So follow me, like me, subscribe to me, whatever you want to do, and know I am here to support you. Seems like I'm forgetting something else, but I don't remember, so we're going to leave it at that. So thank you again so much for joining me tonight. Thank you for watching, and thank you for your commitment to grow and to evolve and to learn and to step into that power. That is what the world needs right now, and so I thank you for taking those steps to help heal the world by healing yourself. So have a wonderful week, everyone. Call on your animal guides to come help. And until I see you next time, know that I love you, that I see you, and that I honor you. So have a wonderful, wonderful week, everyone. I love you. I will see you soon. In the meantime, go shining. All right. Bye, everybody.